Okay, I just realized that I didn't finish answering this question. How many teams should the committee invite? All right, and they want to play 4 games. All right, so we're going to use our rule that f of n equals 2 times 2 to the n minus 1, and they want us to play a total of 4 games. So we're going to say 4 minus 1, that's going to give me a 3. Okay, so I'm going to say 2 times 8. Okay, so we would have 16. Okay, so again, 4 games would require 16 teams. All right, let's look at the second example. So we had our recursive rule. We had our explicit rule, and so it says how many games will the winner play. Okay, so if we look at our rule, f of n equals 256 times, we had 1/4 to the n minus 1. So remember, n's was the number of rounds. Okay, so if we plug in, okay, so if we look at like how many rounds or how many games will the person have to play, and this would represent like the number of games played in that round. So in the final round, there's just going to be 1 game that's played. And so we have our 256 times our 1/4 n minus 1. All right, so our goal is to isolate our variable, which is here. So we're going to divide both sides by 256. Okay, so I get 1/256 equals 1/4 to the n minus 1. Now we haven't really worked with exponents like this, for example. Now you could keep like plugging in numbers here. Like you could plug in a 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. 1/4 to the 0 is not going to be 256. Then you could plug in a 2. You could plug in a 3. Another way that you can do it is you can say, I'm going to figure out what this is in terms of like a base of 4. So like, what number to the 4th power? Either way, I feel like this, you could go 2 ways about this. Honestly, if I were you guys, I would just keep plugging a number in here until this equaled 250 or 1/256. You could also look at okay, sorry, I had somebody that came in and distracted me. All right, so I think I'm going to backtrack to what I just said. I'm just going to have you guys plug in numbers. I think that's the fastest way to have you try to solve this equation. So you can type it in. I'm going to raise it to, and I'm going to say, okay, I know it's not going to be a 1 because 1 minus 1 is 0, and 1/4 to 0 is not that. If I plug in a 2, I can see that that's not that fraction. Okay, so I'm going to say, all right, well, what if I put a 3 in? That's not that fraction. If I plug a 4 in, that's not that fraction. If I plug a 5 in, there we go. Okay, so our n is 5. Okay, I think that's going to be the easiest way for you. All right, but now let's say you're like, well, I still need to know how to figure out that without just plugging it in. So you can also rewrite this. Okay, so the 1/4 to the 4th power, so let me show you that. 1/4 to the 4th power is 1/256. All right, and so there's a rule that when you have 2 bases, okay, and they're the same, you can just set their exponents equal. So I can say 4 equals n minus 1, add the 1 over, and I could get the n that way as well. However, I just think it's going to be easier for you guys to plug in the number here, I should say, and see what number minus 1 this to that power equals that.